This is Susan Hall. She's the Conservative candidate for London Mayor, and she's never been shy about letting people know just how much she detests Sadiq Khan. But now it's been revealed that she also liked a series of aggressive and even racist tweets concerning London's mayor. The Times reports this. In one post liked by Hall, Khan, the London mayor, is described as our nipple-height mayor of Londonistan. Now, the term Londonistan is a sobriquet anti-racist campaigners say is often used pejoratively. I'm not sure what a sobriquet is, but I think you can see that Londonistan is going to be used in a racist way. The full tweet reads this: please be upstanding for Councillor Susie, reminding our nipple-height mayor of Londonistan to stop trying to overturn Brexit and start doing his job. Well done, Susie. Kiss. So she liked that tweet. In another tweet praising her questioning of the London mayor's violence against women and girls strategy, Hall liked a comment which said, well said, Susan, that Labour traitor rat likes that sort of thing. Hall also liked a tweet including the claim that Khan is begging for Londoners to do a Tower Hamlets postal vote for May next year, and we all know how that works, #fraud, appearing to suggest that he would endorse electoral corruption. It doesn't stop there, though. The Times article goes on to say this. Susan Hall liked an image of Enoch Powell, infamous for his Rivers of Blood speech on Twitter, alongside the image of the words, "It's never too late to save your country," a combination once used on the website of the far-right British National Party. Now, in response to the Times report, Susan Hall's spokesperson said this: Susan engages with many people on Twitter without endorsing their views. Londoners want a mayor who listens to people and deals with the bread and butter issues that matter to them, making our streets safer and putting more money back into people's pockets. As mayor, Susan will deliver that. This is really worrying, I think, right? You know, the spokesperson saying, oh, she likes it, that doesn't mean she endorses it. What she is clearly doing, though, is reading something which is explicitly racist. This is a politician in public life standing to be London mayor and saying, yep, I'm fine with that. Cool, fab, great, yeah. Sadiq Khan, mayor of Londonistan. Like Enoch Powell, we need to save our country, from non-white people, presumably. Like, this is someone who is either an outright racist or someone who has absolutely zero understanding of racism, who wants to stand to be elected in London, an incredibly multicultural, diverse city. Obviously, as well, if you remember a recent show, what we discussed is that first past the post doesn't mean that Susan, or first past the post makes it the case that it's not a completely outlandish idea that Susan Hall could win the mayoralty if the left vote is split. She could get in on 30% or the like, and that would be, I think, incredibly toxic for this city. Helena, when I first looked at this story, so sometimes when I see headlines sort of suggesting that someone has liked this tweet or liked that tweet, I kind of think, oh God, another story about someone liking tweets. But this does seem like a pattern whereby this person is really willing to endorse incredibly racist views about her rival.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to make a point on this one, is that I think on the left, we mostly get into politics because we figure we will prioritize economic policy. And we think we make the assumption that people on the right do too. And I think that's not really the case. A lot of people who are really into conservatism, members of the intelligentsia or members of the party itself, are very, very conservative on social issues. And I don't think we give that enough credence. This is what led to the kind of things like the National Conservatism Conference, where it looked like Crankfest 2023. But this is really kind of the meat and potatoes of the actual conservative member base, which is how you get people like Susan Hall standing in the position that she's in. And I think she is in tune in similar respects with the kind of things that she's appeared to endorse by liking these tweets. I don't really think there's any much defense that you can pull for liking multiple things along this very, very similar pattern that shows an endorsement of at least moderately racist views, if not, liking a picture of and a quote from one of the most famous kind of figures of racial animus in this country in the form of Enoch Powell. It seems like an incredibly strange defense of hers to say that she likes it, but she doesn't endorse it.
I also do want to focus on Sadiq Khan a bit more because it is, I think, really worth noting and actually dwelling on the extent to which Sadiq Khan has been a focal point or become a focal point for racist hate. Now, since being elected London Mayor in 2016, he's received over 300,000 pieces of racist or racism-oriented abuse via social media. But in recent months, it's been on the rise. A study by the Greater London Authority found that racist abuse targeting the mayor has nearly doubled since he decided to expand the ultra-low emission zone to Greater London. The Guardian reported this in July. In 2023 so far, the study found nearly 11,000 racist social media messages, almost as many as sent in all of 2022, with a particular rise in ones referencing Khan's plan to expand London's ultra-low emission zone. The trawl of social media found that racist or racialized abuse mentioning ULEZ rose nearly 200% in the first 3 months of 2023 against the previous quarter, with almost 10% of such messages now referencing it. So what's the character of the abuse? Well, it's very much the kind of thing that Susan Hall has been liking. The Guardian goes on to report this. The bulk of the racist or racialized abuse is aimed at Khan's Pakistani Muslim heritage, with the content isolated by searching for messages linking the mayor to terms such as Sharia law, jihad, or keywords like Londonistan. The report also included messages with the term carnage, saying that while it is not in itself explicitly racist, it is often used in racist posts. At the time of that report, George Lamming of Hope Not Hate told The Guardian this: Sadiq Khan is subjected to strikingly high levels of racial abuse, which speaks to the vilification of Muslim figures in public life. Whilst opposition to ULEZ comes from many sources, a small but vocal contingent has adopted a toxic and increasingly extreme anti-Khan angle. The involvement of individuals linked to the conspiracy theory-driven protests that emerged during the COVID-19 pandemic and elements of the far right in anti-ULEZ campaigning has fueled the levels of abuse. I do really think it is worth sort of noting how much ire is directed at Sadiq Khan, because he's a pretty milquetoast politician, right? You know, I don't mind Sadiq Khan, but I don't find him in any way inspiring. He does seem to be someone who plays it quite safe, right? Quite a PR-focused politician. He seems to be quite keen on, keeping different people on side. I do think the ire sort of focused on him does obviously have so much to do with him being a Muslim mayor of London. I think he's the Muslim mayor in Europe who's sort of mayor of the biggest city, right? So he's got a significant role both in this country and sort of on the global stage. And he is a massive target because of that. And Sadiq Khan is a liberal guy, right? He's incredibly pro-LGBT, and yet you're still constantly seeing him being like, oh, Sadiq Khan, he wants to bring Sharia law into London. And I think what this shows is that it's not, if you are Muslim and of a Muslim background, however liberal you are still going to have right-wing people saying you want to introduce Sharia law. And the other thing to remember here is this is not just a minority of sort of crazy people on the internet, because do you remember the election when Sadiq Khan first got elected? Who was standing against him? Zach Goldsmith. That was the most Islamophobic campaign I think I've seen in my lifetime in this country, right? Do you remember that article? I think it was in the Mail, where you had a picture of one of the 7/7 bombings saying Sadiq Khan will make London less safe. So outrageously racist. He ended up getting brought back in as an environment minister, didn't he? It's quite easy to come back from running racist campaigns in this country.